Hi, this is the last one in the series of Wet on Wet at the moment. We've done the background and the mountains and the foreground, and we've even put a little three-dimensional boat in. Just leaves something to put in here like a tree. So that's what we're going to do. Now, this is all dry, so somehow we've got to get a transparent bit of tree, and I've started here with just a reasonably stiff brush and clean water, and I've just gone through the dry paint from the previous lesson, and I keep rubbing it gently until it's got a fairly loose effect on the paint that's beneath it, and then if you blot it you will end up with a reasonably white mark. It won't be totally clean, but it will be good enough. You can actually, if you pre-plan the painting, then perhaps you could use some rubber solution, which is you can paint on, and then when it's dry you can do whatever you like over the top, and then when you finish you just rub it and it comes out as a clean line. The only trouble is you don't want to use your good brushes, you'll ruin them, so you need some cheap throwaway brushes if you're going to use that. There's also wax resist, where you use a candle to mark it. That will have the same effect, but unfortunately you have to iron it out, and it may not all come out of the paper, depending on if it's very rough, lovely rough paper, then you might find that you can't really get it all out. So you'll end up with a kind of speckled effect. Okay, right, so you've got your line that you're going to start with, and you want to use a smallish brush in this case, because the trees are not very thick, and you've got to put a dark and a light side on the tree to give it some effect, a three-dimensional effect. So I'm just going to put a bit of dark tone down the left hand side of it, all the way down. Then I'm going to get some clean water on that same brush, and I'm just going to blend it across, if you like. Now if you miss little bits, don't worry, because it'll look like little light areas on the trunk. So a bit more water, and you don't have to take it right across, you can even leave the right hand side fairly clean. Okay, and then you want to do the same with the other lesser branches, if you like, not the trunk. If I put one here, for instance, this is when you need a nice fine brush. It's called a rigger, and you need to practice this on scrap paper. But what you want is it's thicker where it leaves the main trunk, and then getting thinner as it trails off. And you can go up and you can go down, you can go across. A lot of people don't go across their picture, which they should do, because that helps with the three-dimensional quality. So you take it up to your tree and then behind it and then off up over here. Okay, and you can do it in front of it or behind it, it doesn't matter. I always have said it before, but give myself the shakes, because if you do that you can change direction. You go up, down, and it gets finer as it goes away. So you can do that there. I'm going to go up here. We're going to go up just into the sky, maybe just a little bit. Different directions. Slowly building. New one over here, don't we? It's always easier, if you're right-handed, it's always easier to use your right, to go on the right side of a thing, but on the left it's always more difficult, or vice versa. I'm going to go behind that tree again and then out the other side. Thicken that up. Put a few little marks in just to give it a bit of texture, and we come off down here as well. Okay, So go across, and as you're going up away from the main branch and it's getting thinner, just lift your brush off so that it comes to a natural end. Okay, right, now basically we've got a nice winter tree here now. Just going to blend that into the ground a bit. Right, I'm not going to overdo this because I think it needs to have some space. You don't want to fill up and you can't see the mountain behind. Now I've probably got to lost the brush I wanted. Right, I think this will do it. This isn't the one, but it do it. If you've got any old brushes that you don't particularly like using, then keep them, because they can be used for making textures like we did down here in the ground. So now changing the colour, got a bit of scrap paper here just to dab my brush before I do it. I've just put it into some brown and I'm going to dab away. You don't want any thick lump blobs, that's why you use a bit of scrap paper first. And you keep twisting your brush as well, but you can build up your leaves on the tree. Just be careful when you do this, don't overdo it. You end up with too much. Put some on this side. Keep twisting your brush. Whoops, it's a bit strong there. Right, I need some more paint. I'll mix up some more. Right, and off we go again. And then step back every so often. Have a look at what you've done. Don't just keep going and going and going. You might find that you can easily put a bit too much on. So I'm just looking at this now. Just going to take it down here a bit. Okay, so I'm looking to try and get this feel of it coming over here a little bit, just to balance up the painting, if you like. I'll put a bit down there. Right, this is a little bit too wet for my liking. I perhaps should have kept it a little bit tackier. When I leave that to dry and then take my little brush, which I can then add details, working on top of the dabbing that I did. Perhaps down, I hope this is in the shot, I think it is. You know, building and building and building to make the painting feel like there's no empty spots except where you want them to be. And you can keep on slowly working at this until you feel that it's strong enough. I'm going to do some videos where I go into these techniques in more detail. This is really just an introduction way of showing you what's possible quite quickly and easily. Right, the boat which we've filled in, you can start to do the same putting in details, like, you know, you can make the planks of the boat. It's coming toward you, so they're going to get wider apart. You start to make it look not just like a silhouette, but an actual object. Slowly build, 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 all the time. Okay. You know, you can put in little lines like that to hold the boat in place. So I've shown you roughly what you've got to do. This needs more work on it to make it feel little bit more powerful and a bit more detail in it. But the technique, this wet on wet technique, where we've got the sky, which we've done very quickly by wetting the whole paper, letting the paint that we put on it run. The paint will look too strong to start with, but as it settles into the paper, I would think it loses about 1/3 of its power. So, you know, if you think it's too strong, it may not be. Same with the mountain. Start with wet on wet and wet on wet, and then start to build in some little texture shapes. The water is a kind of repeat of the sky, but you try and get the paint to spread downwards, so you get these light effects. You know, the warm colour underneath the blue, but don't overbrush the two together. You'll end up with a dirty colour. This is dabbing with a rough brush and taking out maybe with a tissue. And the tree, dark to light on the bark, and then the smaller branches getting finer and finer as you go out. Back to the brush to dab away. Back to the small brush to put in details on anything you need to put in. And then you've basically got the whole painting done. Okay, the next set of paintings will be watercolor again. There might be an odd pencil drawing one thrown in as well. So I hope you join me on future videos. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.